Welcome to the instructional video on how to add a new employee through the Evolution Payroll system. There are a few items that you should be aware of prior to making changes. Any field that has an asterisk next to it is a required field within the database and will need to be populated with data. Any field that is underlined can be changed with an effective date. Click on the underlined word and the effective date editor will pop up. Once you click Add, then you are able to make the necessary changes for the proper dates. Just make sure you either save or cancel your changes. To add a new employee, click on the purple Employees button on the left. Existing active employees already set up within the company will appear in the list. To add a new employee, click on the large plus sign at the top left of your screen to add a new record. The Add Employee box will appear on your screen. Add in the Social Security number or employer ID and click Check ID. If the employee's information comes up on the screen, stop and cancel, as this employee is already in the system. You cannot add in the employee a second time. If the employee is not already in the system, a blank personal screen will come up. You will need to go through this screen and enter in all of the applicable information. Remember that any field with an asterisk is required, and you will need to ensure that there is data in those fields. When you are done entering all the required information, click the Next button. This will be at the bottom left of your screen. You can also click on the Tab button on your keyboard. You will be brought to the Labor Default screen. If you track departments within the system, go to the organizational level and click the arrow in front of any of the hidden levels to get to the level specific to your company setup. Select the appropriate option for this employee, then click Next or use the Tab key on your keyboard to move to the ACA screen. If you are tracking ACA through our system, make the necessary changes to the employee. It's very important that you use the effective date editor when updating the screen. This is something that we reviewed at the beginning of this video. If you are unsure how to make these changes, please take a moment to watch the video on making ACA changes in Evolution Payroll. To move on to the next part of the setup, click on the Pay option on the left. Verify that the pay frequency is correct, then enter in either the salary amount or the rate amount for this employee. If you need to add multiple rates for this employee, click on the Add button on the right. Make sure you enter in the additional rate of pay under Rate Amount. If this rate of pay should be allocated to a different department, select that department under the Organizational Level option. Please note that the Plan Update section is for informational purposes only and will not affect the employee's pay rates now or in the future. Click the Next button at the bottom or use the Tab key on your keyboard to move through the shifts. Piecework and Auto Labor Distribution. Click on the Add button on any of these screens if you need to add any of these values to the employees. Click the Next button at the bottom or use the Tab key on your keyboard to move to the Federal option. Update the taxation for the employee to show their marital status and exemptions. If they would like to add any additional federal dollars withheld from their paychecks, update the tax type to be additional amount and enter in the amount from the W-4 in the value field. If there should be any changes to the employee tax statuses or employer tax statuses, please contact your client service representative for assistance in changing these fields. Click the Next button at the bottom or use the Tab key on your keyboard to move to the State option. The default state for your company will come up automatically. Make sure to complete the marital status and tax exemption fields. If they would like any additional state dollars withheld from their paychecks, update the tax type to be additional amount and enter in the amount from the state W-4 form in the value field. If there should be any changes to the employee and employer tax statuses, please contact your client service representative for assistance in changing these fields. If the employee has state reciprocations, which means they pay taxes to a state other than where they are working, you would click the Add button and bring in the secondary state. Make sure you update the marital status, tax exemptions, as well as the reciprocation fields. If you are unsure what to select, please contact your client service representative for assistance. Click the next button at the bottom or use the Tab key on your keyboard to move to the local option. If you are tracking local taxes through the system, click Add and select the appropriate local tax. Make sure that you are completing all of the required fields. Once you are done entering in the data, or if you do not have any local taxes to add for this employee, you can click the Save button at the top left of your screen, just above the Personal option. If you do not wish to save this employee for any reason, you can click on the Cancel button instead. You have now successfully added a new employee into the Evolution Payroll app.